Food. It sustains us, but it's more than just fuel. Food brings us together. It reminds us of home, comfort, and care. But in a disaster, whether it's a major earthquake, power grid failure, or regional crisis, that comfort can disappear quickly. Grocery stores might be damaged, shelves emptied in minutes, power lines down. No electricity means no refrigeration and no working checkout systems. And store employees? They're facing the same emergency you are. Add blocked roads from fallen trees, power poles, and debris, and suddenly the entire supply chain breaks down. When disaster strikes, the only food you can rely on is the food you've already stockpiled. That's where emergency food storage comes in. Whether you're in the US, where FEMA encourages every household to be prepared for at least 2 weeks, or in a European country participating in civil resilience programs, the message is the same. Households should be ready to sustain themselves in a crisis. Both FEMA and the EU, through efforts like the RescEU program, emphasize the importance of individuals taking responsibility for their own basic emergency stockpiles, starting with food and water.
I'm the Preparedness. I chose a silly channel name to change the stereotype around a quote-unquote prepper. It doesn't have to be a bearded man wearing camo with a rifle strapped across his body, hanging out near his underground bunker. A prepper is just someone who prepares for disaster instead of letting it catch them off guard. And I'm hoping that you'll embrace the term for yourself as you follow along in this video series. Today, we're talking about how to build your survival food supply, what to buy, how to store it, what you'll need to cook it, and how to make sure you're not caught off guard. And let me know in the comments if you can spot a photo bomber in one of the photos in this video. But shh, don't mention which one, so everyone has a chance to find it themselves.
Let's start with what to do when the power goes out. In a grid down scenario, your first step is to eat what's in your refrigerator. If you keep the door closed, that food will usually stay cold for up to 4 hours. After that, move on to the freezer. A full freezer can keep food frozen for up to 48 hours, or 24 hours if it's only half full. You can extend the time slightly with a bag of ice or frozen water bottles. Not only will this approach help you eat your food before it spoils, it also reduces waste during a time when garbage pickup is disrupted. If you have the budget for it, I recommend a power station or solar generator. If you multiply the volts by the amps of a refrigerator, the product is the total number of hourly watts it needs. But that's not the whole picture, because refrigerators have a compressor that runs about 30% of the time, and they use very little power when the compressor isn't running. So you can divide the total wattage you got earlier by 3 to get the average running wattage per hour for your refrigerator. Many home refrigerator freezers can run for up to 24 hours with a 2,000 watt-hour power bank. EcoFlow is one brand to consider. They use the safer Life PO4 or lithium iron phosphate batteries, which have better longevity than lithium ion. And EcoFlow is known for good customer service. I'll put a link to their site in the video description. They also have a unique product, an 800-watt alternator charger, which allows you to charge some of their power stations from any 12-volt or 24-volt battery, whether a car, truck, or boat battery, or even a standalone third-party battery. You can also reverse the charging direction to charge your battery from the power station. There are plenty of options for you to choose from. If you've used a power bank or solar generator that you recommend, drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear what's worked for you. So what kind of food should you be storing ahead of time? The best food for disaster preparedness is shelf-stable. Items that last a long time and don't require refrigeration. You'll want at least a 2-week emergency food supply for every person and pet in your household. Ideally, aim for 2 months of storage. And don't forget to pack 3 to 7 days of portable survival food in each person's get-home bag, go bag, or emergency backpack. I'll release a video that focuses on these bags sometime in the next month. There are 3 main strategies to build up your emergency food storage. The get it and forget it strategy. This one's easy, buy pre-made long-term survival food kits. These freeze-dried meals or backpacking style rations last up to 30 years. Popular brands include Valley Food Storage, Augustin Farms, Mountain House, O-Meals, ReadyWise, and BePrepared.com's Emergency Essentials. This approach is similar to the RescEU stockpiling concept, having reliable backup food that requires minimal prep and lasts for decades. Next up is the DIYer strategy. This is for you if you want to save money and customize your supplies. You buy your own grains and legumes and store them in a way that extends shelf life up to 10 years. Some good grains include rice, oats, quinoa, farro, and barley. For legumes, try lentils or navy, red, black, pinto, or garbanzo beans. Smaller beans cook faster and use less water, which is helpful when the power grid is down and water is in short supply. What you'll need: 5mm or thicker Mylar bags, oxygen absorbers, also known as O2 absorbers. You use 100 cc for 1 quart bags, 300 cc for 1 gallon bags, and 2000 cc for 5-gallon bags. You need a bag sealer or iron, and food-grade 5-gallon buckets with lids. Fill the bags about 3/4 full, add the O2 absorber, seal the bag quickly, and place it inside a bucket. Store these in a cool, dry, dark place, away from chemicals. This is a budget-friendly way to build household-level resilience and long-term food security. And last, but certainly not least, is the tortoise strategy. This is the slow and steady method. Each time you go shopping, pick up a few extra shelf-stable groceries and set them aside. You'll gradually create your emergency stockpile without a big upfront cost, a technique that's promoted in both US and EU civil preparedness campaigns. Make sure you rotate your stock so the oldest food is used first. Stick to things you normally buy and that you'll actually eat. Great options to include are ready-to-eat meals like canned soups, meal pouches and bars, proteins like canned or pouched fish, jerky, nuts and nut butters, sardines and chicken, spices to add flavor, vitamins and pet food, and morale boosters like chocolate, coffee, or alcohol. I was surprised to learn that one of the first foods to sell out before the last hurricane was strawberry Pop-Tarts. What's the one food you'd never want to ride out a disaster without? Tell us in the comments. I recommend mixing all three. Use the get it and forget it for a few days of portable grab-and-go meals, powdered dairy, and some freeze-dried meat. Use the DIY for grains and beans, which is great for stretching meals and saving money. And use the tortoise strategy for a stockpile of shelf-stable foods you'll actually eat. This combination gives you long-term food security, and it matches up well with what EU and US emergency management offices are now encouraging. Once you have your food stored, don't forget to plan for how you'll cook it. In my last video on emergency water storage, I talked about the Gilly kettle and the Esbit pocket stove. These are great options that don't rely on gas or electricity. Other tools to consider include these, most of which are budget-friendly. If you already have an indoor wood-burning stove, put a trivet on top and use it with cast iron pans. Get a grate to place over a pre-existing fire pit, the EcoZoom Versa rocket stove, the Firebox stove, and barbecue grills such as the Weber Smoky Joe or the Jumbo Joe. Park-style grills like this jumbo one from Ash and Ember, a bit more expensive than the other options, but great for a larger group. Whenever possible, lean toward tools that use wood or charcoal, since propane and butane may not be available. Cast iron pans and Dutch ovens can be used over an open flame. A stovetop pressure cooker will help your food cook faster and conserve fuel. If this video helped you think more clearly about your food storage plan, share it with someone who's just starting to build their emergency plan. Whether you're following US FEMA guidelines or the EU civil protection recommendations, preparing today can make a huge difference when the unexpected happens. In my next video, we'll talk about emergency first aid kits. Plus, we'll cover what training courses to consider in the US. And remember, be prepared, not scared.